series. Our today's speaker is Dr. Hemant Joshi sir, Assistant Professor in Department of Veterinary Anatomy at College of Veterinary and Animal Sciences, Navania, Udaipur, Rajuwas, Bikaner. ADSW and in charge of NSS Unit, Co-PI Center of Studies on Wildlife Management and Health, CVS, Navania. Sir has done MVSc research work from Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun. Sir has guided many PG and PhD students. Now I request Dr. Hemant Joshi sir to continue the webinar.
Okay, thank you, Neha. So, very good day, everyone. I am Dr. Hemant Joshi, and it's my privilege of leading today's webinar as a part of Career Advancement Counseling Series. And as I came to know that this series encompasses 17 session and 17 webinar, and each one is hosted by distinguished experts in their field. So today I will be discussing the intricate and fascinating relationship between the veterinary anatomy and wildlife science. So definitely it going to be a very interesting because as you know that wildlife is always give something new to learn about, and as a veterinarian many things are related to our studies. So how as a I am an anatomist, how the anatomist can play a role in this wildlife forensic, as I have worked in wildlife forensic science and realized that why people are not coming in this field and there is a great demand. So today's the purpose of this lecture is to student come up in this field, and our focus will be into how a deep understanding of the veterinary anatomy can significantly contribute to the field of wildlife science. You know that a crucial area for the preservation and study of our natural world. As your resource person for this session, I am very excited to welcome all the participants who have joined us today. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to organizer of this webinar with special gratitude to my student Rahul Kataria for their effort in making this important uh, discussion possible. And your presence and engagement in this webinar will be significance of this topic, and I look forward our collective exploration of the vital field. I chose this topic because of a significant experience I had during my participation in the MBSc research work at Wildlife Institute of India in 2004. 2002. I went to Wildlife Institute of India, and my guide assigned me a project on the study of tiger skull anatomy at that time, which involved with collaboration with the Wildlife Institute of India. Now, this collaboration opened a fascinating world of wildlife anatomy for me, where I realized that there is an immense demand and importance of veterinary anatomy in the field of wildlife science. And during my time there, I came to know that the Wildlife Institute forensic sections uh, is also need veterinary anatomy. They give me a pelvic bone to and tell me, "Hey, whether are you able to identify this sex of the species, whether it is a male or female." And as a veterinarian, we all know that the ischial arch of the female is wider as compared to male. So immediately I could able to tell and identify the bone that sir it is from female. and at that pelvic bone was belong to tigress at that time. I have never seen the tigress pelvic bone, but I could able to identify the bone is belong to female. Okay, then I realized they need a veterinary anatomy to solve the cases. Another important point which I learned there, that there are lot of mandibles are there packed in the boxes. I asked them, what are these, why the bones are here? One of the attendant told me that these bones are here to identify. No one is there to identify, to sort out the bones of the mandible. And you will surprised to know that mandible can be identified by a single one osteological point, the ventral surface. I will discuss in this lecture. Then I told them, just keep the mandible on the flat surface and see the ventral border of the mandible. You will be, by the looking the shape of the ventral border, you will be able to identify. And they are able to segregate lion, tiger, wolf, hyena, bear, sloth, bear, each and every species of the mandible. Then we all sit together and prepare a manual identification of the wild animal on the basis of mandible, that published from Wildlife Institute of India at that time. So this, you can understand that what are the discriminative power has in this subject in wildlife science. And last 20, or I will say 15 years, you will see that most of the people are working in the forensic science are on a DNA basis. Definitely, DNA is a very authentic procedure to identify the wild any species or cases, and they need very short, small sample for analysis. But they need, the primer are very costly, so they need a clue. So anatomy can help them to identification or uh, idea to identify the species, and then they go for DNA analysis. So without wasting much time, I'm come to the presentation. My screen is visible. Presentation is visible to you. Okay, great. So this is all about the basic introduction. Yes. Where? Yeah. This one. Okay, right. So, dear participants, uh, one more example I would like to share with you, that uh, they offer me one bird skeleton and ask me to identify the species. Uh, One is belong to the jungle quail, and another one is belong to uh, Cotonis. Okay, Japanese quail. That is Cotonis. So jungle quail and Japanese quail, the skeleton is almost very similar to there. And sometimes what happens that DNA band uh, did not appear. So the osteology is one of the clue to identify, and you will surprise that we could give some clue to identify on the basis of osteology. So in forensic science, if you is a nowadays very demanding. So I will show you the what is the picture nowadays. If you see the literature about the illegal wildlife trade, you will surprised to know that illegal wildlife trade is third largest criminal industries after the narcotics and firearms. And what are the seizures material are? The seizures materials are 96,000 kg of pangolin scales were in trade, 225,000 kg of ivory, 2200 tiger skin. These all are seizures material of wildlife part, and they all are brought to the wildlife forensic lab. Now the problem is that with the wildlife forensic people is the lack of data. Data is not available for identification of the species. That is the biggest problem. You know that the forest guard is working in the forest. They uh, seize the they catch the poachers, seize the material wildlife part is there, and send to the forensic lab for identification. But forensic lab is not able to identify these part. That is the biggest problem is there. Now what they use of this wildlife, they use in meat, they use in traditional medicine. I think everyone is know about that. They for decorative items, ornaments, and there are 35,000 species under CITES and 96% list under Appendix 2. So now what is the challenges? The challenges to wildlife forensic lab is that over 70% of the cases fail due to the improper species or item identification. Second one is the lack of collaboration is also there among law enforcement agency. Sometimes what happens that forensic lab needs some ask some data or queries, but the reply is doesn't coming from the government department. So there is a lack of collaboration also there here, and inadequate forensic evidence is there. So conclusion is that wildlife crime is a significant global issue that requires improved identification, stronger enforcement collaboration, and a more responsive judicial approach. So before starting my presentation, I would also introduce one more thing, which this is new for me also. Last year I visited Kolkata forensic lab as a resource person to take the classes. So at in that lab, this ambergris has come for the identification. I shocked to know about what is ambergris, and when I see the literature, I am surprised to know that the 1 kg of the ambergris, the cost is 1 crore, 1 crore. How costly the material of this wildlife product is there, and this is the actually whale vomits, and it is used in perfume industry. So you people, when you search on this on the web, you are able to get the details about the ambergris. So this is new illegal wildlife product that is marketed illegally marketed in India, and the sample has come from any Bombay side or anywhere to the Kolkata wildlife forensic, where I have seen it is very waxy type materials there. So ambergris, often called whale vomit, is a rare substance made by sperm whale actually, and it forms in the whale's stomach to protect it from hard things like squid beak. So when the whale expels it, the ambergris float in the ocean for a long time, and over the time it changes from a sticky, smelly substance into. Initially, it was a sticky, smelly substance that converted into hard, waxy material with a pleasant smell. And this ambergris is very valuable and is used in perfume industries because it helps make the scent last longer. So it's so rare and priced that the people sometimes call floating gold. So now the question arises that why the whale vomit this part ambergris? Why it's really, and what is the physiology of the whale digestive system, what is the structure of digestive system of the whale. When we all came to know about that, then we could be understand that what is the use of ambergris, and people are working illegally using there in the perfume industries. So we should know about it. And I think that there are so many metals will be there in the biological product that could be identified, and we came to know. So the veterinary anatomy and wildlife forensics both are parallel, uh, yes, parallel science actually. Wildlife forensics needs veterinary anatomist, and veterinary anatomy has a wide scope in the wildlife forensics. This picture is, you can see here that usually take classes. My students which are sitting here all are belonging to the wildlife forensics, and they all are experts in molecular biology. You know, but they need to understand the anatomy also, because once they get the clue from the species, it will be uh, very easy for them to go for a molecular level and apply the marker. Okay, look at this picture. This is a skull of African lion, and when the case come in the forensic lab, they will wrap like that. That is, you can see it is wrapped in the long bones are in different polythene bag, and small bones are in different polythene bag. But skull and mandible were also in always there in the skeletal remains. So the skull may be a very good clue to identify the species. That is the main point is there. And if you some if you read some point on the skull, you are very easily can say, once the gunny bag is open and you see the skull, immediately you can say that yes, it is belong to, it is a tiger, it is a lion, it is a leopard, wolf, hyena, dog, anything. And how to approach, it is another a trick. Always look at the skull is there or not. Yes, skull is there, and once the skull is there, you go for the teeth. If there are four teeth, there is a skull belong to the dog family, and if there are three teeth, the skull belong to the cat family. Just looking to the teeth, and once you get the segregate whether it is carnivore or uh, feline or canine, then you go for another nasal bone structure, or so many points, anatomical points are there. You can easily identify the species also. You can segregate the species in cat family. Say for example, literature says that sub-adult tiger is similar to the adult leopard. If you see the skull of the sub-adult tiger and adult leopard, there is no difference. Even Pocock has also written in Fauna of British India. In that book, he has written there is no difference. But when you closely observe, there are 6 or 7 differences you will find between tiger and leopard skull. So osteological study is very important in wildlife forensics, and I am surprised in entire Indian veterinary anatomy colleges or department, nobody is working on this field. Why people are doing some histological studies, see some collagen fiber and some cells and submit the thesis. What is the use of this your study? And I, as Rahul told me that most of the participants are from MBSc student, I told them, whenever you select the subject research topic, ask yourself what is the significance of this study? Why I am doing this research? If there is no significance, you are wasting your time. So significance is very important. And from veterinary anatomy, if you go and select the wildlife forensic topic, there will be a great demand. I have always seen in wildlife forensic, even you go at Wildlife Institute of India, Dehradun, even you go Jadasai Zoological Survey of India, Kolkata. Even you go Lacoons, Hyderabad, everywhere. The osteology anatomist is great demand. Okay, now I told for the newcomers who is coming in the wildlife forensic. Actually, when you go for this field, you also need to learn the knowledge of animal behavior also. Look at this picture. The lion is eating the flesh with the tilt head, like that. He's eating the flesh like tilt head. Why so? He is not eating the meat as a straight head. He always tilt head and then eating. Why so? Because it the animal has carnassial teeth. Look at this picture. Okay. Okay. So here is a carnassial teeth is there. This is upper premolar and lower molar. Both meet and together and form a blade-like structure that easy to cutting the flesh. That's why to use this carnassial teeth, they always till the head. So such type of anatomy is required to study the animal behavior is there. When I visited or I when we go with the students at the wildlife tour, the student always says that sir कभी टाइगर नहीं दिखा, जंगल में हम घूमने गए हमको टाइगर नहीं दिखा. अरे तुमको टाइगर क्यों दिखेगा भाई? जरूरी है टाइगर तुमको दिखेगा? उसका एक अपना एक बायोलॉजी है, वो अपने हिसाब से देखता है. और व्हेन यू पीपल गो टू एनी वाइल्ड लाइफ पार्क और सेंचुरी, तो आपको देखना क्या है? क्या टाइगर ही देखना है क्या उधर? देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स एज ए वेटेरियन यू शुड देयर नो कि हमको वाइल्ड लाइफ पार्क में जाके एनिमल को क्या देखना है. यू कैन सी द हर्बीवोर एंड ऑब्जर्व द हर्बीवोर. It gives 40% टाइम टू फॉरेज एंड 60% टाइम फॉर विजिलेंस. वो अपना क्या 40% तो खाने में लगाता है, 60% टाइम अपना इधर इधर उधर घूमने में विजिलेंस में लगाता है कि एनी इफ देयर इज एनी प्रेडेटर इज देयर और नॉट. सो सच टाइप ऑफ बिहेवियर एंड देन ऑब्जर्व वेदर ही इज अलोन और इन ग्रुप. वो कैसा है, वो ग्रुप में रहता है, सिंगल रहता है. तो देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स टू ऑब्जर्व एंड वंस यू able to know their behavior, you correlate with the physiology of this animal. मतलब कहने का ये है कि आपको जब कभी आप वाइल्ड लाइफ साइंस या फॉरेंसिक के अंदर आप लोग एंटर करेंगे, आपको मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी नॉलेज होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. आपको बायोलॉजी का नॉलेज होना चाहिए, आपको फिजियोलॉजी का नॉलेज होना चाहिए, आपको एनाटॉमी का नॉलेज होना चाहिए. अभी चूंकि वेटनरी एनाटॉमी की बात हो रही है, तो वाइल्ड लाइफ फॉरेंसिक के अंदर इतनी ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस है, इसलिए ये वेबिनार आपको मैं ये डिस्कस करने के लिए आया हूँ. अच्छा सा, अब आगे और देखिए कि यू कैन सी दैट ये टाइगर का स्कल है. दिस इज द स्कल ऑफ द टाइगर. ओके. एंड ऑल्सो यू कैन सी ये मैंडिबल है उसका, और उस मैंडिबल का जो कॉन्डाइल है दैट इज सिलेंड्रिकल इन शेप. तो अगर ये सिलेंड्रिकल इन शेप है तो इसका क्या यूज है वो इस बुक में लिखा हुआ है. दैट इज ए बुक बायोलॉजी एंड कंजर्वेशन ऑफ वाइल्ड फैलिड्स. दैट इज अ बुक. उस बुक के अंदर ये एनाटॉमी एक्सप्लेन किया है कि मैंडिबल का जो कॉन्डाइल है टाइगर का, वो क्या करता है कि उस कार्नेशियल टीथ को एक दूसरे से डैमेज होने से रोकता है. इसे लिखा है कि टाइगर शोइंग हाउ सिलेंड्रिकल मैंडिबुलर कॉन्डाइल अलाउ मैंडिबल टू स्लाइड फ्रॉम साइड टू साइड टू अवॉइड कार्नेशियल एक्सीडेंटली हिटिंग ईच अदर ड्यूरिंग द किलिंग बाइट. जब वो बाइट कर रहा होता है तो उसको साइड बाय साइड करने के लिए जो मूवमेंट चाहिए, वो मूवमेंट इस कॉन्डाइलर मैंडिबल की वजह से होता है. सो you can now able to understand each and every structure of the animal has its play role in its behavior. And there are many literature, people are working there, but you need to go for this field. आप इस फील्ड में जाएंगे तब आप इसको समझेंगे, और जब आप इसको समझेंगे तो जो वाइल्ड लाइफ के जो केसेस हैं वो जो पेंडिंग पड़े हैं अभी वो सॉल्व होंगे. और आगे डिस्कस करते हैं. Now you can see that the when I discussed earlier about the mandible, mandible is one of the very good clue to identify the species. अब आप देखिए कि लायन का मैंडिबल है और टाइगर का मैंडिबल है, एंड यू कैन ऑब्जर्व द ventral surface. You can see this ventral surface. This is the lion mandible ventral surface, and now you can see the convexity of this side. This convexity makes also some convexity is here also. So these two convexity, one and two convexity, but there is no convexity is there. It is going just upward like a boat like structure, like that. But this is not boat. This is come here, and when you see there is some convexity here and again convexity here. So just looking to this ventral surface, we can identify the entire the bone of the forensic which has come to identification. We can give the clue, okay, sir, this may be tiger or lion, and then they go for DNA examination. So you can save the primer also. If you say that this is belong to the lion, they will go for lion primer to confirm whether this species belong to lion or not. So this is their big help to wildlife forensic people, and just give a fraction of second to identify the species. So I request to all the newcomers which are going to work in wildlife, you can take decision to work on this field. There are so many laboratories are there who welcome you people, and they will provide the specimen to identification. They will provide. I will show how many samples they have in later. People in the international level are working on the astrological. I have seen one paper, and they are simple the use of this foramen magnum. Simple use of foramen magnum and this podoventral part of this cranium, occipital bone. Actually, it is the occipital bone part. And looking to the occipital bone, they are able to identify the species. There are five species there. One is marten, cat, otter, beggar, and dog. This is the dog. So there are five species is there, and you can easily identify just looking to occipital part of the skull. No need to, because why there is need to study about the occipital part? Because in practically most the skull, the facial part of the skull is very fragile and broken. You cannot observe the nasal part, nasal bone, because it is due to the presence of some sinuses there. It is very fragile and broken. The skull are broken, which are come to the forensic lab. बट द क्रेनियल पार्ट इज वेरी हार्ड. जो पीछे वाला पार्ट होता है वो बहुत हार्ड होता है, उसको वो ब्रोकन नहीं होता है. तो पीपल आर वर्किंग ऑन दैट पार्ट कि ये तो मिलेगा ही मिलेगा. एंड जस्ट लुकिंग टू द पोडोवेंट्रल पार्ट, they are try to identify these species, and they got very beautiful clue कि how can we differentiate marten, cat, otter, beggar and dog family. So you can see the shape of the foramen magnum. There are so many pointer there, but you can observe this one and this one. There are some differences there. The shape of this, and you can see there are two foramen present here, and there is also only one is here. There is absent, no foramen. And looking to this two, to the presence of two foramen, you can easily identify the otter. So no, this is the way to identify the wild species in wildlife forensic. Okay, now now it's becomes a very old techniques, cementum annuli. When I was doing my research work, at that time, uh, in the international people who are working on cementum annuli, I had also tried to identify the age estimation through cementum annuli. So what is new technique has come now? The new technique is that one of the most common way to determine the age of the mammals. So determination of the age of the mammals is very challenging, but by the using cementum annuli, you can identify and you can predict the age of the mammal by counting the cementum. So what is the cementum is there? Cementum, give I explain through this picture. This is the incisor tooth actually, and when you see the root of the incisor, this is area is known as cementum area, and this area is known as tooth area. Previously, when I was working in the forensic, we um, decalcified the bone actually, the 2% 3% HNO3 solution for 3 4 days. After the decalcification, we make the slide and then count the cementum area. Now that technique has gone. The new technique is that people are just compare the cementum area and tooth area. There are two area. The lower one is the cementum area and tooth area, and the length of the cementum area, they can predict the age of the animal. Here is written somewhere. You can see this is the Matson's laboratory actually in USA. Some laboratory are exclusively working on cementum annuli. You just give the sample, send sample to them, they give result that this animal belong to this species and the age of the animal will be might be this one. So this Matson lab, you read it. The Matson lab is the leading expert in cementum annuli deer aging, and we use cementum age analysis to age your deer and other games, which is scientifically proven to be the most accurate method for aging of the teeth. So this is the very simple technique in we can use in the anatomy lab also, and the US people are earning the money just to analyze the sample. Another National Deer Association, my one of my friend is working here, and he told me that he exclusively do the grinding the teeth and give the result of age of the animal. So they use the incisor of that. The incisor can be sent to a lab. Actually, if you need any species age, if you want to uh, age of the animal, you just send a incisor to the lab and for cementum annuli analysis under a microscope, and they will able to tell about if the animal is 2.5 year older than there is much clear result you will find there. Similarly, the premolar replacement pattern is also which identify the age group fawn, yearling, and adult. And the molar wear pattern also give 2.5 year, 3.5 year, then go for molar wear pattern. So there are three pattern for the study of the jawbone to age estimation. Another technology which has come in India is the 3D printing technology, and this 3D printing is using many places there, dental and dental study also. But this technology has been used in wildlife forensic to make the specimen. If a case come, I have came to know that in Gujarat state, one the broken tiger was given to them to identification whether it is tiger or lion. The remaining part of the skull they form, just giving the data of the cranial part, the caudal part they have formed through 3D printing. So it is a very new technology and very helpful. So 3D printing technology has become a great help in medical and dental field, making surgery very easy. But in India, its use in forensic is still very new. The best part about the 3D printing is that it's non-invasive, no harm the evidence, and this is a big advantage in forensic because it allow expert to make model of the evidence without damaging the real thing. So 3D printing technology you can learn in the lab also. It is not a much costly. It's just give, I think, 3 to 6 lakh is cost is there, as I have knowledge. But this is very good technology. You can go for that. And these 3D printing model make it easier to see, understand, and explain the evidence. For example, they can create a copy of a bone or weapon and use it in court to show what happened. The early studies show that 3D printing give very accurate results. As more research is done and as more forensic experts in India learn about and use this technology, it could greatly improve how forensic work is done in this country. So this is the new things for all of you if you want to make career in the 3D printing. And another the area of the wildlife forensics, that the bird identification to the feather. Previously, feather morphology is used to identify the birds. But nowadays, you will surprised to know that the digital photography of the feather is used, and by the post capture जो अपना फोटोग्राफी के अंदर करते हैं सेचुरेशन और ह्यू और वो जो है ना हिस्टोग्राम जो यूज में करते हैं, with the help of that histogram, people now able to identify the birds. So this is the new technology has come in forensic science. So the earth is home to a wide variety of the bird species, but sadly many of the birds are now at risk of extinction. You all know about that. And additionally, birds often fall victim to wildlife crime such as shooting, trapping, poisoning. Okay, and in such case, feather can be crucial evidence to help the identify the bird species. Now, in this study, I brought this one paper from the internet, and they have written that we introduce a pattern recognizing method for identify bird based on their feather, and during our research, we found that there hasn't been a systemic study on identify bird from feather image. They use feather image for the identify the birds. And to address this, we created digital database containing 60 feather from 15 different bird species. Okay. And they use hue and saturation histogram to extract a uh, feature vector with 46 dimension from the feather image, and they are able to identify the bird species from the feather image. So there is another new technology which may be helpful for the forensic people. Uh, Now you can see in this picture that the people are learning osteology in a very enthusiastically. What are the foramina? What are the how we can identify the species? So here also you can see I am explaining about the foramen of the skull to the participants. And there are, you notice that there are so many bones are there in the forensic lab actually. So if you want to take up anyone research work on this wildlife forensic, the institute provide you the sample for the study, and you just observe the data and publish the paper and get contribution and give contribution to this forensic science that will be helpful to solve the cases. Look at this wildlife forensic people, scientists are there, but they are analyzing the bone. This is a tiger skull, and they are analyzing about this because there is a great importance of this subject. Now, in this picture, you see on the board the position of anterior palatine foramina relative to palatine maxillary suture. Actually, what happens in the ventral surface of the bone, there is a one anterior palatine foramina which has different position in different species. Now the students are looking at this foramina at in different species in the tiger, in lion, in leopard, where the anterior palatine foramina is situated, and then make the notes. They get the photograph. So once they noted down all this information, and when the sample came to their lab, that point is very helpful to identify the species. Okay. Now, in this picture, you can see there are three skull is there. One is belong to tiger, lion, and leopard. And just looking the nasal bone, I give the clue. So each and every bone can give clue to identify the species there. But you need to only observations is required. Note down, and it is very interesting. You will surprise 2 days back only. 2 days back only, I got this picture for the identification of the species from forensic lab. I have solved this case. Just get WhatsApp in my mobile phone, and I also explained to you people also. They asked me identify the species. Now, you people looking to the shape of the bone, there is no canine teeth is there. So definitely it belong to the herbivore structure is there. And from the herbivore, I have seen in the internet the shape of this angle of this mandible. So this of the angle is differ from this and this. So, and when you see the literature, this mandible belong to the sambar species, and I confirm from the forensic people. They told me, yes, sir, you were right. This uh, mandible is belong to the sambar species there. So, just 2 day back, I got the WhatsApp for the identification of the species there. So anatomy is very powerful subject in the wildlife forensics. That is my purpose to come and to teach you about this all happening, and there is great demand. Uh, and I told to the Rahul that why people are not coming in veterinary anatomy. And once you get the veterinary anatomy, no need to go for teaching, or teaching is okay, but the wildlife you try to go at wildlife forensic science. You can go as a osteological expert. There are vacancies are there, and they need, but no anatomist is there. Even anatomist is not there in colleges also. तो forensic में तो कहाँ से anatomist मिलेगा? तो I request all you people, if you get chance to get the admission in the veterinary anatomy, must take the wildlife topic, osteological topic, and go and collaborate with the these forensic science institutes. And now then after that you can get experts about that. I told you I just want to show this video film which I recorded. How many samples are there? Just to show. Just a minute. Actually, this is Uh, orangutan skulls are there. How many skulls are there? There are a lot of samples. Look at the collection of each species. ये एक species के इतने सारे collection है. तो आपकी thesis, PhD, MBSc सब कुछ complete हो सकती है. Okay, come to my. I'm concluding my this lecture. Examination of the skeleton. If you go for examination of the skeleton, look at this picture. You have to actually arrange in correct anatomical position prior to careful examination. So once again, you can see that the correct anatomical position only able when you know the anatomy of this species. So people are working at that laboratory. they must have knowledge of the anatomy is there. And if there are no anatomy knowledge there, they are not able to solve this skeleton examinations completed. And there are a lot of training is there. This training session of the bone in Uganda. I am also going Kenya next month to just teach the people about the osteology of wild animals. So this is all about from my side. If you have any question, you can ask me about this wildlife forensic or osteology. I am not son of molecular biology, so please avoid molecular questions. Biology questions are there. I am expert in osteology. Okay. So let me conclude this last one, that this is the message from this webinar. For new wildlife researcher or those in veterinary anatomy, it's crucial to establish a comprehensive database for species identification through the bone. And this database should catalog detailed morphological feature of various bones, particularly focus on key identification markers. So start with commonly found species, expanding over time to include rare species. And this resource will be invaluable not only in academic research but also in practical application like wildlife forensic, conservation effort, and biodiversity studies. And by creating such a database, you contribute significantly to the field and provide a robust tool for future research and forensic investigations. So this is all about from my side. Now you can ask questions if you have. Please. Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Dr. Prayar. I also did my PhD research work from WI. Nice to see you, sir. So we
Oh,
used to
great.
refer to you. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, sir, my question is recently I had a case in Karnataka. I'm a chief wildlife warden. This one office sent one tusk. So when I cross-checked it with cross-section, I couldn't find sugar lines. So I gave my preliminary. Yep. Yeah, I gave my preliminary report telling that since the absence of sugar lines, so send it to DNA forensic. So now DNA forensics apparently they seems to have told it as tusk. So now how we have to maintain this, because now the sugar lines are absent, but the DNA confirms it as ivory. So how we have to proceed when cases are like this? Hope I made my question clear, sir.
Actually, I log out for some time. Your question is not clear to me, but
Yeah, my question, I'll rephrase it. I got
mm,
a ivory for forensic. So
identification.
since they had to submit the report before 5th of last month, so they asked me to do the morphology thing and please give the report. I told I'll do a preliminary, but you have to confirm it with DNA. So when I did my preliminary, there was no sugar lines for the
Okay.
ivory when I did the cross section. But since I recommended it to CCMB, CCMB apparently have told it belongs to ivory based on the DNA.
Oh, okay. What I did. Your observation is compared with the DNA examination. Is it
Sir?
clear? Clear. You are telling that this is not ivory, but your DNA is report is saying that it is ivory.
No, I just wrote preliminary, prima facie, since there is absence of sugar lines. So apparently it's not ivory. However, to confirm it further, send it for CCMB for DNA. Now DNA confirms it as ivory only, but in my observation, when I did the cross section, the sugar lines which is unique to the ivory was not present.
Okay. But yeah, my will be there once the DNA report is there. we should go with DNA report actually. DNA report is much more authentic as compared to our my connection is unstable. Then what I am saying that whatever the DNA report says, authentic in आवाज नहीं आ रही है तो what should I do? क्या करूं? अरे एक मिनट probably from mobile. Now am I audible?